Listeners, welcome to Arthur Crandon's Legal Perspectives, where we explore fascinating cultural and legal issues in the Philippines for foreigners. Please excuse any chicken noises you hear. That proves we actually live in the Philippines and we actually live on a farm. Okay, today's topic: marriage and relationship laws in the Philippines versus the United States and most of the rest of the world. Did you know that marriage and relationship laws in these two countries couldn't be more different? From the concept of annulments in the Philippines to prenups in the US. Today we'll unpack it all. Whether you're in an international relationship or just curious, this show will give you the insights you need. Let's dive in. Let's start with the Philippines. Marriage is taken very seriously here, with laws rooted deeply in Catholic traditions hundreds of years old. In fact, the Philippines is the only country in the world, besides the Vatican City, that does not allow divorce. Once you're married in the Philippines, it's essentially for life. The only way to end a marriage is through annulment. You can get a legal separation, but you're still married and cannot remarry. Both of these are complex and expensive processes. For instance, if a couple in Manila wants to annul their marriage, they must prove a legal ground, like psychological incapacity. This was famously illustrated in the case of a Filipino celebrity who spent years in court trying to annul her marriage, citing irreconcilable differences. The court denied her claim as irreconcilable differences are not recognized as a reason for an annulment in the Philippine courts. On the other hand, legal separation in the Philippines allows couples to live apart and have separate finances, but doesn't dissolve the marriage. This means neither party can remarry. The process often leaves couple in a legal limbo, unable to move on completely. Now, let's take a look at the US, where the approach to marriage and divorce is much more flexible. In America, divorce is legal in every state, and there are two main types: no-fault and fault-based divorces. No-fault divorce, which is probably the most common, doesn't require proving any wrongdoing. Couples can simply cite irreconcilable differences and move on with their lives. Let's, for instance, take the case of John and Sarah in California. They've been married for 5 years, but decided to part ways due to growing apart. In California, a no-fault divorce allows them to split their assets and go their separate ways without any lengthy courtroom battles. Additionally, prenuptial agreements or prenups are common in US and the rest of the world. These contracts allow couples to decide how assets will be divided if the marriage ends. In contrast, prenups are relatively rare in the Philippines, although they do happen, because marriage is viewed more as a sacred and permanent union. Now let's move to the relationships outside of marriage. In the US, cohabitation, living together without being married, is widely accepted and legal in all states, as it is in most of the world. Couples can even have joint property or children without being married, and courts often consider these factors in disputes. In New York, for example, a couple living together for years can sometimes argue for rights similar to married couples under common law. This flexibility gives people more freedom to choose how they structure their relationships. Contrast this with the Philippines, where cohabitation, known as live-in arrangements, is often stigmatized, especially in the rural areas. Legally, cohabiting couples do not have the same rights as married couples, which can create challenges in property disputes or inheritance. For example, take the case of a Filipina and her foreign partner who lived together for over a decade in Cebu. When the foreigner passed away, his family claimed all his assets, as the live-in partner had no legal right to any of his property under Philippine law. This stark difference highlights how cultural norms deeply influence legal systems. To wrap up, marriage and relationship laws in the Philippines and the US reflect their unique histories and cultures. The Philippines emphasizes the permanence of marriage, while the US offers flexibility and individual freedom in relationships. If you're navigating a cross-cultural relationship or planning to marry abroad, understanding these laws is crucial. From prenuptial agreements to inheritance rights, knowing the legal landscape can save you a lot of stress down the line. If you have any questions about international marriage laws, reach out to us or consult a local legal expert, and don't forget to tune in next week for more global insights. Next week we'll be talking about visa difficulties which people often experience when trying to get together with their Filipino partner. This is Arthur Crandon signing off for today. Have a great day.